Hello, traveler. Welcome to 4G1G. Today we're diving into a manga that, if you're over 16 and 3/4, you need to read. No exaggeration, Urasawa's Monster might just flip your worldview upside down. We just finished the whole thing, and this episode is our fresh reaction. Favorite scenes, wild theories, characters we loved or feared, and the moral question at the heart of it all. If all lives are equal, why does saving one destroy so many? Grab a snack, settle in, because this is going to be interesting. Let's go.
Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a nameless monster. The monster was dying to have a name, so the monster made up his mind and set out on a journey to look for one. Also, this is
Mr. Zip,
Mac.
Quincy.
Sister.
and we're talking about Naoki Urasawa's Monster.
Glad that worked out.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to figure out an opening for that. It's very different from the other animes we talked about.
Gotta set a tone.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the backstory for this one. So we all heard about known about Monster for almost as long as we've known about anime. Is that right? What do you guys think?
Well,
Nope,
I think
Not really.
not in my case.
You didn't
remember-
know? I thought we told you about it.
I remember Mister told me about it first because when he told me that it's well known for having one of the best anime villains of all time.
Probably the best.
Arguably the best. And I remember when he was telling me about, and when Mister was telling me about it, how the main antagonist was this guy. It was a dude named Johan Liebert, who's just ridiculously evil and is up there with Griffith from Berserk in terms of how bad he is. And I remember I got intrigued the moment when I actually decided to look up a picture of Johan, and he looked completely different from how I imagined him. With every single expecting him to be like Hannibal Lecter, which I mean he kind of is like him, or just to be a lot more off the rails. But seeing this eerily serene blonde boy, and then hearing that he's
The monster.
the titular monster registered trademark, is what really intrigued me. And then I think it was 2 years later when Zip you were the first one to read it.
Yeah, I think I was the first one. We obviously, like I said, we talked about it. We actually knew most of the. Well, I knew about most of the stuff with the actual plot with the monster, but it was mainly the stuff with Johan that he did. So, Mister, you were the first one who you knew about Monster, to talk about it because, mystery things and the tone, it's kind of right up your alley, right?
Yeah, that's right. I remember I read the first 7 chapters. It was about 2 years ago before anybody else read it. But I never actually finished. But I didn't finish it at first because, I had a lot of other stuff to work on, like school and things like that.
And over
then
200 chapters is a serious commitment.
Yep, and then, Zip ended up reading it, and he finished it first.
I have a question. So, did you first hear about it from the Violi YouTube channel?
No, it was before that. I was researching villains.
Oh. So you found out about Johan first, and then looked into him, and then found out about the entire story of Monster.
Not the entire story. Like I said, I read the first 7 chapters. I watched a lot of analysis videos for Monster in the first place, but I didn't know the whole story because, like I said, I hadn't actually read it at the time.
Yeah, actually, in hindsight, I remember
Sorry,
were you done?
I was done. I was pretty much done, so that's fine.
Actually, I remember before knowing a whole lot about the plot of Monster, looking up clips for Johan and that sort of thing, and finding him to be really interesting and imitating his voice a lot, to the extent that in our junior high school English class, when we were reading The Portrait of Dorian Gray, and we had to read the introduction, or was it an introduction, or
It was the foreword by
foreword, yes,
by the author.
By the author
Oscar Wilde.
And I just read it, and when I did that, I just read it in a Johan voice, and I'm still very proud of that because it worked perfectly. Any listeners who feel good about the Johan Liebert impression, give that a look. Also, watch it in the English dub because it's easier to do that if your first language is English.
I don't know. I think a lot of people from America might disagree with you on that.
Yeah. If you do some sort of thing with memorizing the lines in Japanese, I'm impressed.
I like being able to look away from the TV and know what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah, Sylvanus would throw you in the anime jail for that. Anime hot takes jail for that.
I don't care.
Yeah, and so when you saying you looked up, you knew he was on villain lists and stuff like that. The first thing I thought of was reading it is Johan Liebert.
Johan Liebert.
So just seeing him over and over again.
You did call him Liebert for a while until you learned of the German pronunciation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
we've always said Johan
I
correctly,
bet you
though.
felt very American. Huh.
Well, I was like, when I first ended up, let's see. When I read the
Answer
name
that
for
is
the
yes.
When I read, I guess you could say that. I guess when I read the thing, I was like, oh, his name must be Liebert. And then I watched the announcement videos. They kept calling him Liebert, and I was like, oh, I guess it's pronounced Liebert. I've been pronouncing it wrong. I guess I am American.
But one of the first major things I can think of when I learned about Monster from you, Mister, and of course I should have mentioned this at the start. So we're going to be talking about a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't read Monster, go watch it. Go read it. Just go do it now.
Yeah,
please
do something to just immerse yourself in it. It's in the library.
Even just read the entire plot on Wikipedia if you don't have a long enough attention span.
You gotta go through it, man.
I mean, sure, it's like 70. It's like 70 episodes, but it's about how many volumes? Like 20 for the small form stuff, and for the
I was half
perfect edition.
joking.
Yeah, I know there are people out there who are gonna do that, but I think most people, self-respecting anime watchers, know about it because it's Urasawa's most well-known work, apart from 20th Century Boys and Pluto now because of the anime. But still,
I tend to after I read the manga, I read it on Wikipedia, the whole plot, for things I didn't understand.
Okay, that's fair. That's
because
fair.
Wikipedia just puts everything in layman's terms.
The plot gets really complicated.
Yeah,
I remember it's really quickly. I remember the first time I actually heard about it officially. From Missa was when we were talking about it sometime at the gym, and he told me the story. We're going to talk about this later. He told me the story about Detective Brown and Johan, and he was talking about how. I'm going to get that. And he was.
Pass me the paper.
Oh, the paper. My bad. And he was telling me how what Johan did, everything he said, and all that, and it was just I was horrified. And then I think you showed us a scene on YouTube with Detective Brown, and everything with that. But one thing that I want to touch on that with the actual story that I thought when I first heard it isn't this basically just The Fugitive?
Yeah, which is a movie that we've watched quite a bit. There's the TV show, of course, from the 60s, and the movie from the 90s starring Harrison Ford. So we're pretty familiar with it at this point.
Yeah. And
actually, let me pull up the log lines for both Monster and The Fugitive. And actually, I'll do Monster, Fugitive, the TV show from the 60s, and the movie from the 90s. Hold on a second. Oh, and one interesting fact I think that you're going to go over is that the original premise for Monster is actually based off of The Fugitive because Urasawa watched it in the 60s when he was a kid and was a big fan of the whole innocent doctor on the run trying to beat the villain who's doing so-and-so while an obsessive police officer is going after him, which is like an A+ plot idea that's hard to go wrong with. Of course.
And there's also some other stuff too where he added his own secret sauce. The whole deal with Johan actually, with him bringing Johan back to life. I always thought it was like a kind of twisted Messiah kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because obviously he does the Bible verse at the start, but that part is actually taken from Frankenstein, where he brings the monster back to life and then it causes hell for him. Granted, Dr. Tenma is a much better person than Dr. Frankenstein. But that's another element he took, and just some other background info. I'm pretty sure I told you guys some other background info about Monster is that initially the people who published the manga weren't really sure it would actually do very well, but Urasawa wasn't sure it would do very well either because all the shonen action stuff.
And it's a very specific thing. Like with Urasawa stuff, he isn't really all that concerned about action. It's more of an intrigue thing, a slow-paced intrigue thing.
I think it was like his fourth or fifth manga or something like that. And that's one of the reasons why he made Johan so attractive. It's because he thought that, well, if I can't get them with action, because it's not going to be a lot of that, maybe I can get them by making the main antagonist really pretty.
So he figured that if I couldn't get the readers to read it because of the general plot, I'm just going to make the main antagonist like really, really pretty to see if that does anything. Which of course adds a layer to it because you're wondering, how does this soft-eyed blonde pretty boy happen to be just a nightmare, the titular monster? What's up with that?
Also, just curious. So we've all watched The Fugitive, right? Have you watched The Fugitive, sister?
I think I'm confusing it with Frequency.
Frequency's a good movie.
A different 90s action movie.
I watched it a really, really, really long time ago.
Okay, well we're gonna have to fix that.
We're gonna have to fix
I
that.
just remember I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
I remember that clear as day. And when going through the sewers. But everything other than that, not really. I think, didn't he fight like a guy who was missing a finger?
The one-armed man.
Oh, he's missing an arm. Okay, got it. I think like I said, I'm getting confused with Frequency because didn't the guy lose his
he lost his whole
hand or something like that?
Spoiler alerts for the movie Frequency.
Just watch it.
But I said the guy losing one of his hands.
Oh yeah,
like,
but
they don't know who
that
we're talking about.
but that came
could be
later.
any guy.
Okay, I got the.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You didn't do any spoilers.
Okay, I got the. Here's the plot summary. Actually, I'll do this chronologically. I'll do starting with the Fugitive TV show.
Are we still talking about Monster?
Yeah, he's just comparing the log lines.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's similar premise and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is for the TV show that ran in the 60s. Dr. Richard Kimball is wrongly convicted and sentenced to death for the murder of his wife, a murder he didn't commit. He manages to escape en route to be executed and must stay ahead of the police to find the real killer. And here is the movie and here's the movie for Fugitive.
It should be the same thing, right?
It's basically the same thing, yeah. Dr. Richard Kimball, unjustly accused of murdering his wife, must find the real killer while being the target of a nationwide manhunt led by a seasoned U.S. Marshal. And now for Monster. Tenma, a brilliant neurosurgeon with a promising future, risks his career to save the life of a critically wounded young boy. The boy, now a charismatic young man, reappears 9 years later in the midst of a string of unusual serial murders.
Wow, they're just like each other.
Yeah, when I read it like that, it's very clear which the sort of difference with them, because one's a lot more of a detective thing.
It's very clear which one the anime is.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the charismatic young man part.
I don't know. It's just something about it is just different.
You'd really be able to tell if it was an anime if they said that, and he wants to be the strongest.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
That's a
Well,
good
the charismatic young man who wants to become the greatest murderer of all time.
It seems like some of Naoki Urasawa's works. I don't know. It feels like this most grounded, most realistic of other mangas and that kind of stories.
Yeah.
Those kinds of stories that I've seen, and they seem like they'd be the most easy sort of to adapt into live action, for instance.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And I would totally I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, actually, we can talk about. Actually, we can kind of touch on that.
But I want to talk about
bit.
the rest of the cast because we've been talking about Johan so much. But one of the best things about the series, in my opinion, is how most people get into the series mainly from hearing about Johan and his reputation. But it's only when you're getting into that when you realize that literally every single character in this entire manga is just as developed and three-dimensional and that sort of thing. And Tenma is just like an angel.
Yeah, he's great.
He's just
exactly.
a saint.
And if you
so
assume that you're gonna go into there thinking that your favorite character is going to be like Johan or something like that because of how he's a masterfully crafted antagonist, you're gonna have a lot of other people to choose from, like the the good, the bad, and that sort of thing. My favorite character is Martin. But by the way,
Yeah, and people are gonna ask who the heck's Martin.
yeah, trust me. You just keep reading. You persevere, and through all of this intriguing and well-written fiction, and you'll find out. It's good, fantastic.
Just really quickly, we're going to talk about favorite characters later.
Okay, great.
And just really quickly touching on the point that you made, Sister, with it being really easy to adapt into live action. And obviously, most of, as far as I know, I mean, I've only read 2 officially, but Monster and 20th Century Boys, as far as I know, it's all of his mangas are kind of like that. Except for, I think, all of them.
We've watched Pluto, though.
Yeah,
so
we did watch. Oh, yeah, we did watch
Even
Pluto.
20th Century Boys seems like it'd be easy to adapt to.
I think
Yeah.
it was made into a live action thing, but the only caveat with that is I think in order to actually be able to really adapt 20th Century Boys, I'm not done with it yet. I'm making my way through it, and I love it a lot. But the only way to be able to do that is to be able to have, in my opinion, lots and lots of money and to adapt it faithfully.
You could adapt parts of it, I think, like with
The school stuff.
stuff and things like that. You can adapt just parts, but not the whole entire thing, because like, where are you gonna get a laser gun?
I mean,
You can find one.
You can make one out of cardboard.
Yeah, you can make one. Yeah, you can make one of those. It's just it's just like when it gets to the really big stuff, which is where I'm at.
That's
It's
as far as I've gotten.
The world changing crap is what I'm talking about.
As far as I've gotten, it's a laser gun. Also, yeah, it would probably be hard to make that giant thing of like Friends symbol on that robot out of paper mache.
Well, I mean,
So
they probably do. Hey, just fix it in post and use VFX.
okay.
But Mac-
I mean, yeah,
It's
actually,
painting green.
I mean, it depends on like the approach that you do. But when you get to that, well, just do it with me. You know what to do.
Oh, those freaking comedians.
What was
but
that?
Hey, it's from
You were doing
The
What
French
was that?
concert. It was the friendship concert.
What
Yeah.
was that Weasley thing you guys were
No,
doing?
they did it with their hands. They did it with the weird thing with their hands.
It was after a bunch of like build up and whatever it is. I'm not in on the joke. You finished it. Is that like some sort of foreshadowing? Okay.
Yeah, but
Oh,
when the
oh, Lord.
But okay, we'll get back on topic with Monster. But all I say is with the 20th Century Boys, when the alien spaceships show up, just forget about it. That's all I'll say.
Oh God!
Okay,
I can't wait.
so as far as another thing about why it would be like really good to adapt, like one of the reasons why I think it's weird. It's both very popular and kind of underrated. Have you guys noticed that?
Well, I think it's not underrated. It's more sort of
Underground.
It's like
Underground.
It's like how there's a difference between casual moviegoers and then there's the people like me who like to go within the weeds to try to see the movies that people like talk about and that sort of thing.
Okay,
and
so
I
there's
feel like
so it's normal
Monster- and-
people and there's fanatics.
Yes, exactly. I'm one of those. So I think with it's what Brandon Sanderson said in regards to how his fame works. He said that he's very famous among a small group of people, which in this is mainly writers, other writers.
Yeah, it's actually probably a good way to describe it. So you go ahead.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I thought you had some. I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna comment on how the withered hand thing that you guys did earlier. I don't know. It's just how you guys did it the exact same way, the exact same time without looking at each other.
That's what they did. It was like Hotep and Hoy in Prince of Egypt. It's just what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Maybe that's what the crowd was laughing at. Except Kenji obviously wasn't a part of the joke because he's the only sane person there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all I'll tell you is that it was a very funny joke
It's like
for a small group of people.
in hindsight, it's hilarious.
Got it.
So as far as why it's so popular, it's because with the small group of people. One interesting thing I've noticed is that it tackles a very specific question that it handles very, very well, and that is, what makes a life important, or what makes a life actually matter. But like obviously, when you look at the two, like the main protagonist, Dr. Tenma believes that all lives deserve to be saved, not because of who a person is or what they do or all of that, but just because that is a human life and that is special. Whereas Johan is basically like, screw that. And the whole story is basically testing Tenma on how much he actually believes that. and it's just really good. And one thing I've actually found interesting is the fact that the exact same question is asked in probably one of the most famous movies of all time, The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah,
know what I mean?
that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the same sort of thing. So Tenma is Batman in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Except, he beats... Except, he does beat a couple of people up. But he beats people up by inspiring them to be better people and all
He
that.
beats them up with hope.
Batman does that too, but he just
beats people up first.
he's put in more positions where he has to beat people up. The most I can think of with Tenma doing that sort of thing is when he was in the neo-Nazi bar. You remember when he held a pen, when one of the skinheads was threatening to him, and then he grabbed a pen and said, like, "This pen is at your
Such and such artery.
is such a-
Carotid artery.
Is that your carotid artery? It only takes a small puncture for you to bleed out." And then he went over to the door, threw the skinhead at him and at the other guys. The mob went out, was like, "Get him!" And then they open the door and they see Tenma pointing a gun at them.
And he's like, back up.
Yeah,
Back up!
This is
Yeah.
one of the Turkey, which is one of my favorite arcs. I'm stepping on a lot of the other previous stuff. That's gonna go over later. But anyway,
Yeah, so this is basically a question that, obviously a universal question. Urasawa was just able to use this plot from a show that he loved. It was able to tap into like a core question that people ask, and then just ran with it, because every single character has this issue that we're all writers. We all love talking about storytelling and writing and that kind of thing, and we all know it is hard when you have a big cast of characters to make sure that they all resolve around the same theme, the same philosophical conflict. Right? Have you guys had that same trouble? Like, I'm not going into specifics or anything, but just talking
Absolutely.
about that.
yeah, especially when you have something that broad, when you have like a question that basically could encapsulate all of humanity, basically, or any living thing, or literally any living thing. I don't know how Urasawa was able to do it. I don't know how he thought about it. I don't know how long it took, but he was able to basically look at every perspective possible in regards to that question. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but that's definitely how he was, able to figure it out, is he didn't think about it too hard. Like in the full scheme of things, it's like, what makes a life matter, or do all lives matter?
Are all lives equally important?
Yeah. Are all lives equally important?
Is that and that also applies to, I know that can be interpreted as a racial thing, but that also applies, and it actually is applied to
yeah,
that.
I was gonna
It is
say,
applied
they
to
go
that
over
in Monster, which
Why'd
is
you
really
look at me
interesting.
like that, Quitzy?
Which is interesting how it's applied.
It's just using the statement. It's just using the statement "all lives matter" there, considering the connotation.
I asked, do all lives matter?
Yeah,
This
that's
isn't a
the main
political
question.
agenda. This isn't a political agenda. This is morality.
It's a moral question. Yeah. So basically, it's asking it not just as in a racial way, although it does touch on that, which is really interesting. Although it should be noted, this is like 15 years before all that, before all the political stuff happened
In Europe.
and
And it's
in
in-
Europe, and and of course Tenma's the only Japanese guy in Germany. He's probably the only one in the whole.
He's
in
the
whole
only
country.
Asian guy in all of Europe.
Yeah, and there are a few more in Europe. But
there are a couple,
Germany
actually,
for
yeah.
sure. It shows a few, but it touches on that not in the black and white way, but more so just in general, because obviously this is also in the aftermath of a bunch of complicated stuff in Germany that happened.
Like the Berlin Wall falling, right?
Yeah, and it also touches on that in ways like, does it, like evil people, murderers, people who've done terrible things. Criminals, people who could do terrible things, people who did terrible things but don't remember.
Children
people,
who haven't added anything into life. They're just there.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, do any of those lives actually matter? Like, are they as important as the life of somebody, or like power, actually? Because the whole moral question in the first chapter is whether or not Tenma should save the freaking mayor of the town, or this random kid who came in.
And keeping in mind that if he saves the mayor, he probably get like a big promotion, and the hospital director, who's basically operating on less Grossman terms of morality, is basically all like, so Tenma is saying that if they do this, then they're gonna get a lot of money. Tenma's gonna get a promotion, and everything's gonna be great. As long as you just let this little boy who just got shot in the head die, everything is just gonna be A-okay. Now I'm imagining the Tropic Thunder scene with Tenma and director Heinemann.
like,
that would fit really well.
Unfortunately, the director is not as funny as him.
But he's not. No, he's actually not funny at all.
Yeah, he's just.
But what I was about to say is, in this case, Johan, or the little boy, he arrived at the hospital before the mayor.
Yes.
Yeah. So the earlier thing was the farmer versus this other guy, right? The farmer or this not farmer, like this Turkish man or someone.
Construction worker.
Yeah,
he
arrived
worker.
first, and then there's the other guy,
Who's
and then
more important.
who was more important? Yeah,
Opera singer.
opera singer, and how Tenma had to save the opera singer and then just leave that other man to die.
Yeah, he didn't have to. He did that
He
to
chose
further his
to.
career because
He chose
initially he was in that part of Germany in that hospital to further his career, and he was just doing that by operating on important people, getting behind the staff and all that. And
it worked. It worked for a while.
yeah, it worked for a while. He was getting a lot of notoriety for it. He was known throughout the whole. He was known and respected by all the patients and all the other doctors. He was engaged to the director's daughter, who is a character
She's
we'll
a
talk about for sure. that was Witch with a W.
The W.
And then, on his way out, Tenma meets the wife of the construction worker, who basically asks why he didn't save her husband, even though he came in first. And then Tenma goes through that whole struggle, and it's all stuck in his head. He's basically hearing everyone tell him, they tell him that he should focus on furthering his career. And then Eva, his fiance, explicitly says, "Not all lives are equal."
She says,
And
like,
this calmly says this while eating dinner. Or
And
they're on a
some
date.
people actually believe that in real life, so that just makes it even more intriguing.
That's why it's so pertinent, and that's why it's not only used in this, but it's also used in The Dark Knight, and I'm sure it's used in a bunch of other things, because it's one of those core questions that people ask.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, the whole thing happens with Tenma, and he saves Johan, but he loses everything. He lost everything, but he's still, because he loses his position in the hospital, it's given to somebody else. They basically blacklist him so that he's only dealing with less important people as he wanted to, basically being petty. And
the mayor's dead. Because
the mayor's dead.
Yeah, someone less competent than him took over the surgery, and the mayor died.
Yeah, and Eva, his fiance, breaks up with him. It is horrible.
And suddenly, his life doesn't matter.
Yes, exact. That's really good.
Oh, wait, what'd I do?
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. At that moment, his life didn't matter, but he was proud of what he did because he saved that boy. And then, bing, next morning, everyone who was bad to him is dead, except for Eva. She's fine. She's devastated.
Bada bing, bada boom.
But she's devastated, but she's fine. And the kids who he took care of are gone, and he gets the director's spot. And then Tenma, this whole thing is a great positive arc for Tenma. Throughout the rest of the story, he goes to a flat arc. And then Tenma, when Eva has the nerve to ask him if she wants to say that she wants to get back together, he very coldly turns her down. He doesn't flip her off.
He's not that kind of guy, but he might as well have.
Yeah, with the way he turned her away.
Uh-huh.
That was so good.
Yeah. On the one hand, I kind of wish he gave her like a whole talking to, but on the other hand,
And flicked her forehead.
On the other hand, just cut ties, man. That was good. That was a good move.
Also, it should be noted that the director Heinemann took candy from a hospitalized boy.
Candy
he had a bunch of
from a baby.
And
a child.
He had a bunch of presents around
And
his
he
bed,
handed it around
but he
to the
took
others.
candy from his bedside table right next to him after having a picture with him.
And that's how Johan got him.
Did Johan poison all of the candy, like no matter which one?
Every single one.
And he just lay there in bed, just humming while coating it.
It was probably after he had a picture taken with him, and he's just like, I hate this man more than anyone else, more than anyone else I've ever met, and I've
like prunes.
and I've killed every one of, and I've killed my step parents, and I'm like 9 years old.
I'm also 9 years old.
And keep in mind that director Heinemann was planning on using that photo he was taking with Johan to try and bolster the hospital's reputation after the whole fallout with the mayor.
I'm not sad about. I'm not sad about
Actually,
this man's death at all.
In fact, we rejoice.
This brings about a great quote here from the TV Tropes page for the Hate Sync, which is a type of characters intentionally made to be loathsome by the work's creator. For this specific character, for this specific story, it reads, Well, if that's the last we'll ever see of him, I guess it's hats off to a character who managed to make himself more loathsome in 2 episodes than most anime or manga antagonists manage in a season or more.
Wow.
He's really bad.
He's a real piece of work.
So is Dr. Hyman the most hate-synced character in Monster?
Oh, we'll probably get to
We'll
him.
get to that.
What
What about Roboto?
in comparison to actual Nazis, it's kind of
That's well, that makes us difficult.
Top three.
Okay, and
I think Mr. was gonna say something.
so go ahead.
I was going to say something else about Dr. Heinemann, but I lost my train of thought.
Dr. Heinemann. Just think about how much you hate him.
Just think about his
What's
stupid
that
face.
Luthen voice?
Just think about how much you hate Dr. Heinemann.
Just before, it sounded like Aaron Yeager. Now it sounds like Luke.
Think about his stupid eyebrows.
Just think about your hatred. Dwell on that.
Come on, just think about it, mister.
Do it.
You're not.
Come on, do it.
Hate.
Hate. Anyway, so
Anywho.
Okay, I just remembered that.
great.
That just keep in mind that Tenma was also just kind of ranting in Johan's hospital room, just talking about how these people who weren't valuing who were valuing the mayor's life over the boys, and not thinking that lives are equal and everything, that people like that, I think
he said they'd be better off dead. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Then just
Who?
keep in mind that.
Oh yeah.
Tenma said that when he was.
He did
He
say
was
that.
on a really bad way because of after the whole ceremony thing when they replaced him and just screwed him over. He was talking to Johan, basically saying,
he was
despite
ranting
everything,
himself and-
he's glad he saved his life
Yeah.
because now he'll be able to live a great life and be able to have his whole future ahead of him.
Man, God bless this man.
And he was basically saying, the people who did all that, they'd be better off dead. And he's like, sorry, I'm in a really bad way, but no matter what happens, I'm glad I saved you. And keep in mind that Johan was asleep during this whole thing, so he was just basically saying this so he could be able to comfort him. But Johan wasn't asleep. He heard everything. I think it struck a chord with him, and the next morning, everyone's dead.
It lit a fire under that kid's butt.
I mean, come
For real.
Wait, now that I think about it, since there was that point with when Nina, then Anna, woke up in the hospital and was wandering around because of the fact that she was traumatized due to all the stuff that happened, very reasonably so, because she's like, what, 10?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Johan just got up in the middle of the night and found some rat poison in like a supply closet or something like that. This freaking 10-year-old boy just got shot in the surgery to fix
Shot in the head.
to fix his headshot. I mean, that's the only way I
kid's
could think
tough.
of how he was able to get poison in there.
He found it.
It's a hospital. It's a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. So what would that make sense?
See, all you gotta do is you take a cup, you take a spoon, you take all the drugs that are in that IV thing, you mix it up with some other drugs, you spin it around, you pour it all over the candy. Either that or you get like a spray bottle or something because it spits it all over.
He's found a spray bottle too.
It's crazy. He's a very
night.
resourceful kid.
It was late. There was no one around.
Got it.
Yeah. I guess since we're talking about it so much, I guess we should just talk about Dr. Tenma and Johan, right?
At this point, yeah. They have kind of like this interesting, almost like father-son kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it's
Johan
one of the
literally-
greatest anime rivalries of all time. But it's interesting that you bring that up. The fact that Johan is, the fact that Johan basically, it's clear that I don't even know what you call it. If he likes him or he definitely respects Dr. Tenma for doing all that, which is why he took out all those people like Dr. Heinemann and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows up years later in one of the best and one of the best villain introductions I've ever seen. Like, seriously, it's so good. You guys remember when you first read it? You guys still remember?
Yeah,
it?
I remember when I first watched it. I watched it before
The shading.
before
So
I read
good.
it. But man,
It's truly chilling, actually.
Yeah. It's I think it's one of only 2 times that the two are able to actually talk together face to face, and they're able to talk, and they basically, it's a great thing a great way of exposition. It's just a fantastic scene. Okay.
It's one of the best villain introductions in any series, in my opinion. Like anime or live action or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the scene. You guys already know about it. You guys already know about this.
Yeah,
So,
before our lovely viewers, Zip here will recount it.
yeah, I'll make it fast so we can talk about other things. Okay, so this guy runs into traffic because it looks like he was running from something. He gets hit by a car, and then Dr. Tenma is called in to fix him up because he's a fantastic surgeon and the guy's in pretty bad shape. So he fixes him up, and he's a criminal. So the police, including the how do you say it? The GK?
BKA Inspector Lunge.
BKA Inspector Lunge, who, it should be noted, suspects Dr. Tenma of killing these hospital guys all those years ago. It is 9 years after the whole hospital thing, by the way. He suspects he still suspects Tenma of that, but there was never any proof, and he wants to interrogate this guy as soon as possible. But something scares this guy so much that he does not want to talk about it at all. Until Dr. Tenma has a great conversation with him, and he just So Yonkers keeps talking about some kind of monsters chasing him.
Yonkers is the guy who got hit by a car.
Yonkers, yes, he's the guy who got hit by the car. My bad, forgot to mention that.
It's okay.
And Dr. Tenma once again becomes the best by taking him out to the hospital park and having a nice conversation with him. And Yonkers basically says something along the lines of, even though we're about the same age, it feels like you're my dad. And then it feels like you talk my dad or something. And then Tenma was like, well, it looks like I got a pretty big kid then, huh? And it's just...
man,
he's just the best. And
he just makes
I
my
want to
heart,
hug him.
yeah, he just makes my heart feel
I
warm
wanna hug
whenever he does
Yonkers
anything like
too,
that.
yeah, and Yonkers basically gives his whole reason why he was a thief and specifically a lock picker, because he always wanted a specific clock. And he basically says, basically Tenma says, if you want to be able to keep moving forward and be able to actually get that clock in a full legal way, you got to talk to the police, and then you'll be able to actually live a full life. And then Yonkers at the hospital actually tells the officer who's guarding his door, like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and tell the police what happened. Only for him to run away because the doctor is dead because he ate some candy. Meanwhile, Dr. Tenma, who is supposed to go out on a date, he's supposed to go on a date. Unfortunately, the date didn't show up. But as he's walking away with another doctor friend, he looks in and he's like, hey, this is that clock that Yonkers wanted. Here, I'm going to go get it. And he goes to the hospital because he was going to give Yonkers the clock that he wanted.
Oh, bless him.
Oh, bless him.
Also,
yeah.
that other doctor reminds me of Tom Arnold. I don't know why. He's the funny guy in True Lies.
He is kind of like Dr. Becker.
Yeah.
Wait, I
that's
thought
his
that
name,
I think that he was walking with a doctor friend, then he never even made it to the date, though.
Oh, no, they made it to the date. They just saw
She
that.
didn't show up?
They saw that.
Didn't
Yeah, well,
Eva-
we'll get there.
Didn't Eva scare her away?
Yeah, the reason behind that actually is because Eva had been stalking Tenma, and she basically sabotaged it by saying some not so not family friendly things that I don't want to repeat.
Right, recounting some not safe for work information regarding
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
She sucks.
That happened.
yeah, she's a freaking mean girl.
Yeah. And so anyway,
Look like you sucked a lemon, Quincy.
so,
I know, she's the worst.
so Tenma follows Yonkers, and then there's the whole scene with Johan, and Johan kills Yonkers to silence him. And then that's what that whole thing is when Tenma sees Johan's face the first time, and Eva's there too, and outside. So when
Because she was following.
because she was stalking Tenma.
Stalking
Yeah.
Tenma.
And so she sees Johan's face too, so that comes later. Anywho, I'm sorry, I've talked way too
Long
much.
story long?
Long story long. I've talked way too much about this. Johan's famed for Yonkers' murder and the murder of the seven couples. Tenma is framed for the murder of Yonkers and a bunch of elderly couples that whose murders Johan
Oh,
orchestrated.
that's happening at the same time.
And
right?
as,
He doesn't like old people.
and well,
the world is for the young.
and
Not even them.
Lunge jumps at the Lunge lunges at the opportunity to arrest him, and Tenma's on the run now, and now he's a fugitive. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyone else want to talk?
So was Lunge just like sort of hiding in wait, just waiting for some other murders to happen because he suspected Tenma might have had something to do with?
He's a very stubborn man.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is a very stubborn man, and as we'll see later on, he's the type of guy who, if he comes to a conclusion, there is no option B. There's only option A, and option A is 100% infallible proof, in his opinion.
Yeah, he kind of sucks.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Luke?
he's
Yeah.
basically.
I think he's kind of cool.
I mean,
Oh,
I think so too. He's my favorite character, but
when he wants something, he goes after it. He attacks.
I think
okay.
I think he's kind of what people call a hard A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the hard A,
He's
the
always-
hardest A. His
he's
A
always
is
on the
made of
prowl.
diamond.
God.
and
More like vibranium. That man is something else.
Yeah, he's
And-
like a robot.
we brought up before that he's basically in the Tommy Lee Jones role. He's in the same role that Tommy Lee Jones is in the movie, except he's a lot less funny.
He's scarier,
He's-
and he does not have a sense of
He
humor.
smiles
Yeah.
more, which is creepy.
Yeah, he's not going to suggest that they look for in every, outhouse or cabin or doghouse or whatever.
Please.
It's like, your fugitive's name is Dr. Kenzo, is former Dr. Kenzo Tenma. Go get him.
I wish he would make jokes. It would make him seem human.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, he never made
The fact-
even one joke.
He looks like Agent Smith, too,
Also-
which doesn't help.
Something that's like, I don't know, it's like a boss move, but like an evil boss move is at that point when he came home from work and the women in his life, his wife and his daughter were leaving. Like they had their bags packed and right there,
Yeah.
and they were like stone faced.
His daughter was pregnant.
His daughter was pregnant,
His wife was cheating
and
on
his
him.
wife was cheating on him.
He didn't know.
And wait. He didn't know either of these things. And he didn't reveal that he knew or didn't know either of these things. He got a call from work. And like as they were talking to him, he picked up. And then they told him, you got to go down to the station or whatever. And then he left first. Before his wife or his daughter left. They had packed their bags. He just left first.
I think
Yeah.
if I remember
I
correctly,
was kind of like,
that's both. That is both.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's both. That's horrible.
I know it's horrible.
That is both like one of the worst things ever, but it's also just kind of impressive.
It was
Until
so
you realize,
impressive.
until you realize it's not because he was saving face. It's because he's so obsessed and laser focused with his job. Nothing else matters. I mean, granted that was a pretty baller move on his part.
I didn't actually clap. I was joking.
I think there was actually one point where his wife said, "Well, aren't you aware that I'm cheating on you? Isn't that going to make you pay attention?" And then he just said, "I did not know that." And then I think
He's funny without like being intentional about it at all. That's what makes him funny.
Another example of that, him being unintentionally funny, is his assistant is talking to him. He's like, "Hey, director, do you have like any hobbies?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, well, okay. I was wondering. I always see you at the station. Do you ever go home? Do you like sleep?" And then he looked at him. He's like, "This conversation has nothing to do with work. Let's get back to it."
that is a question right there.
This guy.
he just makes me chuckle. Like he's just funny without
Yeah.
even trying.
Yeah, and
He's also kind of cool though.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
His plot is basically about him kind of becoming more flexible and leaning out because of the fact that as opposed to Dr. Tenma, who basically sees, who's basically very free thinking and making sure that that all lives matter and treating everyone with kindness. Lunge is like black. He's like black and white.
He treats everyone the same.
Yeah,
Let's just say that.
He treats the criminals the same way he treats his family.
Yeah,
He treats his workmates the same way he treats his family, with
Yeah.
cold apathy.
cold. Yeah, because just cold apathy.
Basically.
I mean, except for that one time when the guy stabbed him and he just shot
In both kneecaps.
he shot him in both kneecaps.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I remember, I actually watched a scene from the anime of another great character, Dr. Gillen. Is that how you say his name? Or Gillian?
Gillian.
Yeah, of Dr. Gillian talking to him about the case, and he's telling him that Tenma is he's a psychologist, and without a shadow of a doubt, he is fully aware that he is innocent, and Tenma can't have done any of those murders. And then Lunge says, "Well, you don't know that. You only have his word. You only really have his word." And then he starts recounting some of the details of the case while doing. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. His weird hand memory thing,
Typewriter
his
thing.
typewriter hand thing, which he does to remember everything from like the computer in his head. He calls it. So
I've tried it.
He
It
has
does
a
not work.
TV in his we'll just include that clip.
Yeah. I've looked it up. I've tried it myself. It does not work.
Quincy said he also tried it, right?
It doesn't work.
They also tried sitting like L to see if that would make them smarter. That also did not work. I didn't try that. Why are you asking me? Stop it.
I'm not going to comment on this one because, like, I am a pianist and I do these types of finger movements regularly.
He does the maestro.
Does it work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it works, but I also don't know that whether or not it doesn't work because I do it like that regularly.
Yeah, you see him like sitting down, like either reading something or on the computer, and his right hand is just playing.
It's doing stuff. It's going off.
It's going off. It's playing a concerto, or when let's start listening to like a Mahler piece, like Leonard Bernstein or whatever. He starts his hands graduate from going on the tabletop to in the air in front of his face.
Mm-hmm.
So
You should never listen to Bernstein while you're riding a bike.
Probably. That wouldn't be smart.
Like, especially not sacrificial dance, like, Rite of Spring. If you've seen me walk around, the backyard and just sort of conducting to it, after I finish walking around and I actually think about what this might look like to people, then I was like, should I dial it down a bit?
Just imagine if you like pull a muscle from doing that. Anyway.
Lunge.
Lunge.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't like pulled a muscle from doing that because he's so strict and he's so wooden. But anyway, he's doing all this and say again.
No, I had a point to make after yours.
Okay, and Gillian actually calls him out on this, and he says, "Well, since I'm a psychologist, I can see what you're doing with your hand, with the stuff you're doing with your hand. You claim that all of your stuff is infallible. Well, you have to keep in mind that there's a likely chance that it's like being whatever infallible facts you haven't put in your head could be sullied by your opinions or your emotions or something like that. So you're not looking at the facts, you're looking at what you want to remember. I kind of do the same thing with remembering stuff, but I use my cassette player when hearing people's interrogations. Well, you want more proof about the fact that Tenma isn't doing this and that Johan Liebert isn't like a split personality that he has, but you seem to be really set on believing. Here's a picture. Here is a picture of the guy, Johan Liebert, I have right here. He is a real physical person. What do you think? How do you like them apples? Then Lunge takes the picture, looks at it for a very, very long time, and then if I remember correctly, that's when he gets up and ends the meeting, and before he says anything else, then I think he says, I think I've made a grave mistake.
Then I think the next thing he asks Gillian is, do you know what? I need to fix this right now. Do you know what Dr. Tenma is? And he's like, he's at Munich University. Help him however you can. And then Lunge leaves. He puts this picture away. And he has a big old smile on his face because he played Gillian on that last bit because all he wanted to know where Dr. Tenma was.
Oh, you sly dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just absolutely set on destroying this other man's life.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
so did
And he's fully labeled Tenma as the villain.
Yeah, he
in
wants
his mind.
Tenma. He wants Tenma to be
At this
guilty.
point,
Yeah.
I also think that, it would be very embarrassing if, for him at that time, if Tenma was, innocent about the whole thing.
Oh.
And all that time, he's spending all those years
and his
searching for Tenma and telling people that, he is the guy that they should all be gunning for.
And his wife and daughter are gone.
That'd be so embarrassing because he left
His-
his family.
They left
and
him.
He kind of left them first.
Yeah, he was gone.
He left his family for that case specifically. And at the beginning of it, it was like after he had lost a case, right? That must have been pretty embarrassing for him.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
he
you're
lost
right.
the case because there was a whole scandal with a businessman who died, who
Yeah.
apparently killed a prostitute or something. And then there was this whole mess where he was basically proving without a shadow of a doubt that guy, the politician, was guilty. And the assistant was basically saying, no, he's innocent. And he was like, yeah, I've got proof. He's really, really guilty. In this case, he was 100% right. That guy was guilty.
Well, yeah.
And then the next morning, apparently the assistant killed himself after writing a suicide note saying that the politician guy, was innocent. And keep in mind, he was being very, very harsh with the assistant. So everyone in the office hated him. His career was in a rut, and the Tenma case was all he had left.
Yeah. So, if he was wrong about that, then nobody would ever look at him as probably as they had before, which
Yeah.
is he's really good at his job. And what else does he have outside of his job?
Well,
Nothing. He doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't even have a freaking pet.
The finger thing was pretty cool.
He seems, and if he was to have a pet, he could at least have a cat or something.
Yeah.
Seems like a cat person.
He does seem like a cat person. It'd be funny if he gets a parrot or something though, because it can do all the talking for him. But
And so he remembers what they're saying.
Yeah.
So like, Polly, what did he say? Yeah, dude, he meet me by. Okay, meet over here by 9 o'clock. And that's like a perfect imitation of a criminal's voice or something like
So
that.
like,
yeah.
Blake.
Actually, him with a parrot, but so you make him look like a Disney villain.
That would be pretty
He
funny.
already looks like Jafar. He already has like a Jafar face most of the time.
Like, I know our minds immediately go to a cat for someone like that, but, just fun to think of things out of the ordinary.
Yeah, so go ahead, mister.
So, just to backtrack a little bit with the conversation that Lunge had with Gillian. Is it Gillian or Gilliam?
I think it's Gillian. N.
Okay, man. So, what Dr. Gillian described that Inspector Lunge had was he had confirmation bias. And basically the thing with confirmation bias is when you believe something, so then you basically just go out and start looking for evidence, but the evidence or information that you're looking for or sources, this can apply to research too. Basically what you're looking for ends up aligning with what you already believe. So then with what Gillian was describing, Inspector Lunge having, it was basically talking about how all this information that he has is basically more and more skewed toward what Lunge believes to have happened, and not necessarily the actual objective truth of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that you did a college project on this on Lunge.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was really good too, and with that fact in mind, he's not as much of a robot as he makes out to be. So,
He does have emotions. He's really good at bearing them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to move on to favorite characters and such?
I thought we were gonna. I guess when we're gonna talk about that, we'll be able to. I can't believe it's been 50 minutes and we haven't talked about Nina yet. I mean, I talked about it a little bit, but.
Oh yeah. So do you guys want to keep discussing the thing with Tenma and Johan, or move on to favorite characters?
We can
arcs
move
and stuff?
on.
I think we're already in favorite characters. Now to think
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
what I was thinking.
We just talked about Lunge for 10 minutes.
Yeah, so we were talking about Lunge. I was really surprised when he turned out to be my favorite character. Like, especially near the end. He was like extremely flawed, very, very different from Dr. Tenma. It's a very interesting dynamic that he has with him. And it's only after the midpoint, I think, at the library where things really change, because he goes from hunting down Tenma ruthlessly to actually seeing solid evidence, like multiple people saying about the Johan Liebert. And one of my favorite scenes is when he goes into Johan's room, and every time he does something where he's trying to figure out the mind of a criminal or whatever, he basically says, I am blank, like I am Kenzo Tenma, I am this governor guy. In this case, said I am Johan.
am Japanese.
Yeah, I was hoping.
man, Domo.
Domo. Was that before the midpoint? Or
That was before this.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
like-
meeting Dr. Tenma's Japanese friends, and there was a really awkward point where he was like I am Japanese or I am Kenzo Tenma. And he picked up a pair of chopsticks. He was able to get it right. He did the weird. He kind of did the close eye kind of thing. I was like, okay, man, maybe you're pushing it along.
Yeah, even he was sort of thinking.
It was weird.
I really like how even eventually he was like, "No, I can't do this."
Yeah. And it's kind of. Can I bring up something kind of?
Go ahead.
That, like a random thought I just had, intrusive, if you will.
Oh boy.
So when he was like dating his wife for the first, he would be like, I am a woman.
Holy crap! I think you're right. That's the only way you can answer. That is totally what happened. I was imagining him in the BKA bathroom, like looking in the mirror, and then one of his coworkers comes out of a stall.
Heinrich, what are you doing? That's the person's name's Heinrich.
And then like he just gives the person a side eye, doesn't look, and he's like, "I was just leaving him."
and then Lunge would just stop and be like, wash your hands.
Yeah. And I think that's the only way he could actually get married. Not to think,
Yeah,
not
that
to
is.
think about
Yeah,
it.
or if
Or getting along with his kid.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna-
I am a child.
I am a 2-year-old
I am a 2-year-old
female child.
This and then like the same coworker, like if he's doing that in front of in his office, and then the same coworker comes in, is like Inspector, and then he hears that, it's just like, why does this always happen?
So he's trying to figure out his daughter's mind, and then he has like, and while he's doing the figure thing, he's got like a binky or something.
Oh God.
It's a good thing he didn't.
And then, boop, stay your business. And he's not even embarrassed. He's just going right to business.
Yeah, it's a good thing that that same guy didn't walk in while he was saying the "I am Japanese" thing. It's like you moved on. We're going to that now. Seriously, are you like Old Man Cooper from Mad Men?
Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. Do you think Lunge does this every time he goes to another country? Probably.
Yeah, that'd be
Probably.
funny.
Yeah, and
I am African American.
I think he would hate everything about America, so I don't think he would ever want to set foot there.
yeah, the best part
That's
about
fair.
this whole thing is that he's talking to Tenma's Japanese friends. He's getting figuring out what Tenma is
Those
like.
friends.
Yeah, they knew him in college,
Oh,
and
right,
they are
yeah.
just like, and they're fun guys. They're
Yeah,
like
they
they're
are.
like doing karaoke, and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Lunge, you want to go?" And since Lunge is figuring out Dr. Tenma is, he declines because Dr. Tenma most likely didn't do that kind of thing, and he's basically it's a very interesting scene. And another bad thing that he did involving his family is that he was actually scheduled to meet with his daughter and his grandson, who his daughter.
Newly born grandson.
Yeah, after they've been separated for like, I don't know, a year or something like that. And then he's like, "Oh, hey, you're meeting with Dr. Kenzo Tenma's friends up. Are you ready? Unless you have any other plans." And he's like, Dr. Kenzo Tenma feels separated from his family, so most likely he doesn't really feel comfortable with them at all. So the only way for me to be able to feel exactly like I'm Dr. Tenma, so I'll be able to find him. Okay, let's go. And he basically stands his daughter up and just leaves her sitting there at the restaurant.
He could have called, right?
Dr.
No.
Tenma wouldn't call.
I mean,
wouldn't have called.
of course, Tenma would call.
Dr.
Do you
Tenma-
even know him?
Dr. Tenma feels ostracized from his family, so
I
that's
mean-
the only logical choice to be able to make.
Sure, that may be true, but that's also the assumption of Tenma not singing karaoke. If I'm being honest, he totally seems like the type. He also probably wouldn't have a great singing voice, but he wouldn't care about that.
Dr. Tenma feels separated from his other peers because he feels like he needs to do better.
Oh, you're maybe his Dr. Tenma, but not the real Dr. Tenma.
Dr. Tenma.
That's like this freaking sociopathic, OCD-ridden, dark Dr. Tenma that he's got in his brain.
Yeah, he also apparently he's got a split personality too.
Yeah, according to him.
Wait, what?
That was the excuse that Longe gave about these murders taking place. He's saying like Tenma had a split personality. One is the do-gooder Dr. Tenma who is great and everyone loves, and the other side is the dark, evil Dr. Tenma who's committing
calls
all these
himself
murders.
Johan.
Now,
He
granted,
calls himself Johan Liebert. Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
an awesome plot, but that's not how that
He and-
happens. That's
when
not
we
how-
say that he and Tenma are that Tenma and Johan are two sides of the same coin, that's not what we mean.
No, it's not.
exactly.
He's not Two-Face.
Yeah.
So,
That's actually
So-
Johan, but we'll get to that.
yeah.
I was going to-
I have the stick.
I was just
Would you point about Lunge?
yeah. I was going to say
okay.
just at least in Lunge's defense, nobody knew that Johan even actually existed.
Okay, right. That's because he's a ghost.
And the thing is that I remember
Also, that's not his real name.
And-
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
sure.
I
forgot
was going
about
to
that.
say that one thing that really stood out to me is when he actually saw a picture of Johan Liebert. That was only then when he started to investigate the whole thing with the Lieberts and having a look at the Red Rose Mansion and everything that happened then. So he actually he needed a just actual like concrete evidence
Yeah,
that this guy
little pushy push.
existed in the first place in order for him to finally let go of his pride and just change his direction and
Yeah,
everything.
the whole thing of the lead up, we were talking about, his doing the robot thing of impersonating the person who he was. The person he's finding is when he was in Johan's room. Sorry, 1 second, Quincy. He was saying, "I'm Johan Liebert. I don't exist. I'm not a real person. So I'm not a real person and all that." And he's like, and earlier he was saying that the only thing that doesn't the only kind of person that doesn't exist is a demon. And then he realized that by tapping into who Johan is and his personality, he realized that Johan, not only was he real, but he was a demon. And he existed. And after everyone was telling him that he existed, now he finally had to accept it. And then he just started laughing. And then he went looking for Nina, who got out of the hospital after the whole library thing just in time. So he just immediately went on the hunt.
So when Dr. Gillian showed him that photo of Johan, did he think that he was just some average Joe? I mean, since he was just feigning, believing that Johan was real after all, just so he could find out where Tenma was.
In his mind, I don't think Johan even existed.
So when he saw the picture of him, then come to think of it, what do you think was like going through his head? Because he's probably thinking that he's sure this guy's a criminal psychologist and all that, but it could just be another picture of some German college student.
I think he's planted a seed of doubt in his mind for sure, but he was still set on, you know what? I still think Tenma's the killer. If it turns out this guy did it, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, so he's still looking for Tenma after all that, but that whole thing with Gillian definitely planted a seed of doubt in his mind. And then, of course, there's a whole ending where he fights Roberto, and there's a great scene where he actually apologizes to Dr. Tenma, and he has the full character arc, and he quits the BKA and becomes a professor at a university, and he's actually talking to his daughter more.
Through email.
Through email, yes, but they had to start somewhere. What are you going to do?
It's a start, Harry. It's a start.
What are you going to do? Talk in person after that disastrous meeting because he decided to go with Tenma's karaoke friends?
You know what?
Yeah.
Disastrous lack of a meeting, more like.
Lunge's whole thing really reminds me of the main character in the movie Manhunter, now that I think about it, because what's his name? It was Will Graham, was doing this whole thing of trying to get in the mind of the killer and all that, except Will Graham is a lot more of a normal person than Lunge, who doesn't have like the psychological fortitude and stiffness that Lunge has.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder if he looked at that for reference too. It was made in the 80s.
That's a good point. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Urasawa is a Michael Mann fan. Also, for the record, BKA stands for... I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm gonna butcher this. Sorry. Bundeskriminalamt. Okay. Look, you can search for it later. It's German for Federal Criminal Police Office.
How do you say it? Bundeskriminalamt.
When you say it right, German.
You just want to pass it around the table, see if
Okay, so let's see. Bundeskriminalamt. Bundeskriminalkamp. Dang it.
We're offending someone out there. I just know it.
Bundeskriminalamt. Nailed it.
At least you got all the way through.
No accent whatsoever. Nice.
Bundeskriminalamt, Ben. Dang it. We're sorry, guys. Well, to all our German listeners, we're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I am not sorry.
It's just how I heard the word element somewhere in your pronunciation.
It's Bundeskriminalamt.
Bundeskriminalamt.
I said Bundeskriminalamt. I'm pretty sure I got some part right. Next week, we face the final boss, Johan. The man, the myth, the menace. And apparently, the man who rocks a dress better than most ladies we know. If that sentence raised questions, good. It should. Hit subscribe or follow on all our platforms so you don't miss the madness. We'll see you then.